Hi everybody, this is Scott Dudley from Funnel Fella Radio, and today my special guest is Vince D. Benedetto, who's based in Chile, and he's the CEO and founder at Automated Dreams. Welcome to the show, Vince. Are you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
You're welcome. All right, so let's start off by going back to the beginning and your background and how you first got into marketing and funnels.
Yeah, I grew up in San Francisco Bay Area, so always around tech, cutting edge technology, software, the newest gadgets, cutting edge marketing. I went up and did my education up at George Fox, which is this little Quaker school near Portland, Oregon, and I did my undergrad in marketing, global business, and I stuck around for my MBA there as well. Yeah, and during my education, I had 4 or 5 different internships. So I was doing market research for a security company, social media management for an agency, email SMS research for an Eastern medicine clinic, teaching about like energy medicine, like really a broad spectrum of things.
Yeah, I was just
Um, and
thinking
so,
that.
yeah, yeah, and out of school, I worked for Intel in their experiential marketing department, and I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. I quit, and the next week, my whole department was laid off with a day's notice. I'm like, okay, well, big business is just not for me. And so I started working for this author called Sark, which stands for Susan Ariel Rainbow Kennedy. She has quite this avid fan base, I think in Australia too. Um, and she's known for handwriting her like 200-page books in like the Sark font, which you can download if you wanted. Um, and I did everything for her for about 2 years, which was her Entreport, like her CRM, her lead pages. I think we dabbled in ClickFunnels.
Okay.
She had e-commerce on Shopify and Etsy, print on demand products, publishing, business coaching, the whole gamut.
Yep.
And it was this business coaching program about like, it was called Succulent Wild Entrepreneurship. And I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. Like, thanks, thanks, Susan. Like I'm gonna quit. Um, and yeah, I became a freelancer doing everything. And there's sort of that freelancer dilemma where like if you're really good, you're going to get more work, and all of a sudden you're pretty terrible because you can't manage your time. And your
Yeah.
clients who liked you for your responsiveness, you're no longer as responsive. And I'm like, okay, it's time to start a business. Um, I became certified in Entreport, which is an all-in-one marketing platform. And yeah, that's the beginning of Automated Dreams, October 2017.
Cool. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about Automated Dreams then and what services you provide to your customers.
Yeah, so we're just over 3 years old now. And I don't know why, but I really hate the word agency. So I call ourselves a marketing automation firm.
Yeah.
And the differentiation there, it's, we hire all of our talent. It's like specifically for the position, not for the project. So never am I speaking to a prospect or client like selling something that I can't fulfill. I'm like, okay, let me go recruit someone to do this.
Okay.
Um, so like I know my talent, I know the quality, I know what we can and can't do. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, HR is just a struggle. So yeah, God bless agency owners. So I guess technically, yeah, it could be an agency in the middle of a firm and an agency.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I realized that I wasn't an expert in everything as a freelancer, as an Entreport cert, and so I needed to build my team around there. Um, and so we offer things like system architecture consulting, consulting on organizations' tech stack, what's going to help them scale and reach their goals and objectives, business process consulting, and cleaning up and automating their systems. And so we have ongoing business process automation packages. Our biggest thing right now is messenger and chat marketing. And so basically all of our services are aimed at making businesses run more predictably through automation, converting more traffic that they actually have, re-engaging their customer base and extending and enhancing their customer journeys.
All right. So chatbots are a large part of what you're doing. Do you just
Yeah.
use something like ManyChat or Clever Messenger, or have you got your own sort of in-house system that you use for that?
Yeah, so we have 3 or 4 ManyChat certified experts, including myself, like one of their biggest agency partners. And we use other tools as well, but ManyChat's the most robust in terms of building for Messenger. And now they have Instagram and WhatsApp in beta. So in terms of
Okay.
competition, unless you want to start coding yourself and working with the Facebook Messenger API, like ManyChat's the way to go.
Yeah, as far as I know, ManyChat's the most common, so it makes sense. Yeah. Cool. All right then, including yourself, how many team members do you have?
Yeah, I think right now we are at 20.
Okay, that's a fair sized team. So
So it's bot specialists. So those that are helping with copywriting, with the strategy, with the API implementation through like IBM Watson and Dialogflow. We have 4 graphic designers, 3 or 4 front and back end full stack developers, 4 CRM specialists. So that's like your Active Campaign, your OnSupport, Keep, HubSpot, Autopilot. Content writers. We have an SEO and data visualization expert, Google pay-per-click and Amazon pay-per-click.
okay, so you do a bit of work with Keep, do you?
I don't. I mean, I don't put anybody on Keep. If they come to me and they need help, we'll help them. But yeah, I'll bite my tongue there.
Yeah, I'll probably do the same. I was going to call it Confusionsoft, but anyway. All right. So, who's your ideal customer niche or target market for what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, like specializing in business automation, marketing automation is sort of a niche in itself, and that every industry can benefit from it.
That's true. Yeah.
But I think our ideal customer is like somewhere between 500,000 to 5 million in revenue. They have relative success, and they sort of Frankenstein their way to a tech stack. Like 40, 50, I've seen 40 to 50 tools running a business and everything's falling apart. So really, like, they have a tech stack that's keeping them from scaling, even though they have like proven processes. So most of their automations are costing more money than it's making them.
Okay. And that's where you come in. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Okay then. All right. So let's talk a bit about marketing and business system automation and how listeners can streamline their processes.
Yeah. Something that people like to skip over because it's cumbersome and sort of, some people think it's boring, but I love it. It's the mapping and documenting everything that you have going on in your business. So laying out like, what are all your tools? What are they doing? What are they serving and not serving? What are your business goals? And then what are like all of the flows when it comes to internal processes? And like, funnels, like what do your funnels look like? You'd be surprised people have funnels, but they have no idea. Like they don't have a map of actually what's going on. And like
Yeah,
what's next.
that doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
Yeah, so business process mapping is really important because then you can start to rank, okay, like what's going to have the most impact to automate first. So it's usually starting simple, start with the proven process, and then start with semi-automation. If something's completely manual, like, and you're gonna go ahead and make it completely automated, like prepare for some major leaks. So start with some semi-automation, and once you've tweaked it a bit, then go for full automation.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. One thing that I've noticed with automation, though, sometimes people can use too much automation and they lose sort of the personalized touch where, the end customer can sometimes, they can tell that it's, that you're just sitting at automated messages. So do you think that it can get to a point where you're overdoing the automation and sometimes it needs a bit more personalization or actual human contact?
I don't think there's such thing as overdoing automation. I think there's such thing as being lazy with automation. Because all the tools exist out there. If you're using the right tools, you're able to personalize. And at the end of the day, the customer, like, they want to get an answer fast, and they want it. They want the right answer. And obviously, like, if your business relies on human touch, then automating like the notification, like notifying your team that someone needs to have a human interaction. So yeah, I mean, automation can be used smarter than how people are using it. It's not like a simple autoresponder.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it all comes down to how well you've set it up as well too. So
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Makes sense. All right. So tell us about one of your most successful marketing campaigns and why you believed it performed so well.
Yeah, I think one of the most exciting campaigns we did was for a client who had a 400,000 like subscriber email list, and they were running a traditional PLF funnel. You know, the whole sales cycle took like 10 days, but for every $1,000 they were spending in ad spend to like drive to the funnel, they were only making $250 back. So like my first question to them was like, why are you still spending money? Like it's
Yeah.
not improving. And their open rates are at 15%. So this is like when messenger marketing was, you know, sort of no longer in beta and more people were using it. I was like, okay, well, messenger has 100% deliverability and like on average 90% open rate. So in theory, you know, I should be able to at least guarantee 3x your results um, within 30 days. And that's when my first Facebook advertising person quit on me. He's like, I can't guarantee anything. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll have to figure out Facebook ads for this. I'm like, how hard can it be? Which is really hard. So yeah, I mean, the traditional PLF funnel is not dynamic. It was a long sales process and it wasn't personalized. And so it was just a simple shift to Messenger. And the only things we really changed other than the channel was we made it more personalized. So like from the get-go, we know the gender of the person, their time zone, so we can personalize when messages are sent and how we address them. Um, and then we allowed for them to choose when to watch the next video, which is sort of going against the PLF model, which is, you know, 24 hours after 24 hours after 24 hours
Yes,
after.
that's true.
Yeah, because if someone comes in at 2 a.m., like, are they going to be awake at 2 a.m. tomorrow to watch the video? Is that the best time? Um,
Not
so
in
we
that
either,
case. Yeah.
yeah, we either allow people to watch the next one right away or to schedule like when they would receive it the next day. Um, and we also made this omni-channel, so we integrated it with the existing email funnel. So really what this did, like we did see a 90% average funnel open rate. And we saw the sales cycle go from 10 days on average to 2 days on average. And some people even like continued through video after video and bought within hours. So after 30 days, we saw it was a 556% increase in their ROI.
Awesome.
Um, so they were spending $1,000 and getting 1,250 back. So it was
Nice.
huge. This is exciting. Yeah, this is when I'm like, okay, I can actually guarantee some results.
Yeah, for sure. You'd be jumping for joy. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So you've talked a bit about the deliverability and also the open rates with Messenger. I'm just sort of wondering what your thoughts are with email, because one thing I've noticed recently is it's getting harder and harder to get email out of the spam box. It's getting harder and harder to get people to open the emails. So do you think that email is slowly dying, or do you still think it's worthwhile, or what's your thoughts on the future of email?
I mean, you can't be lazy with email. It's just like you had to have a website, you have to have some sort of email strategy. Um, and yeah, the big reason why I was excited about Messenger, I was like, okay, well, let's use Messenger to filter people out and only push in like warm and engaged leads into our email list. And theoretically, if you only have a
Ah,
warm and engaged email list, then overall your deliverability is going to be great. But if you're, you know, you're spending all this kinds of money and only 10% of your email list is engaged and you have 100,000 list, like, would you just rather focus on that 10,000? Because the other 90,000 is dragging your email list and your email deliverability down.
so what you're sort of saying there is that the first point of contact would be Messenger, and then if they open
Exactly.
that, then you'd send them to email.
Yeah, I mean, Messenger is great to pre-qualify, and if like we've pre-qualified them out and they're obviously not our audience, why would you want to collect their email and why would you want to put them in your email database? For what reason?
Yeah, when you put it that way, that's exactly right. But yeah, I'd never really thought of it that way. That's very interesting. Okay. All right. So, what are your favorite online tools and platforms that you use to run your business?
Yeah, so this is my job is to test all kinds of tools, and we're always testing all kinds of tools.
Yep.
But we really run off of, so our favorite suite of tools is Teamwork, if you've heard of them.
I think so.
So I'd say about 80% of all of our operations run through Teamwork. So that's Teamwork Projects, Teamwork Desk for ticketing, Teamwork Chat, which is a Slack alternative and fully integrated with the project management system. They have Teamwork CRM, but we don't use it. And Teamwork Spaces for things like your SOPs. Um, and then we love Squarespace just because
Okay.
it's easy to use and like we still rank number one, number two for some Google search words. So a lot of people push back, well, like I can't have a SEO plugin. Like you don't really need one if you know how to do SEO well. Gusto is great for HR and payroll, and then HubSpot. HubSpot's a great CRM to start off with.
Okay. Is Squarespace comparable to WordPress? I've never actually used that before. I mean, I'm familiar with WordPress, but would you say that they're comparable, the two, or are they completely different?
I'd say they're completely different in turn. Like WordPress is just, it's open. Squarespace is not open. So there's a lot more training wheels in terms of design and what you can and can't do with it, like plugin wise.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the possibilities.
I'd say it's like, you know, a few steps up from a Wix sort of builder.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Fair enough. All right. So, what are some of the biggest and most common mistakes that you see your clients making when you first take over, you know, their business or their automation?
Yeah, I see a lot of clients wanting to start something new and automate it. And I'm like, well, if we're starting something new to automate that you've never done before, then you don't really know what success looks like, or you know, we don't have anything to benchmark against. So yeah, creating new processes just for the sake of automating them is it's a big mistake that we see a lot of people do.
Okay.
Because you know, if it's their first jump into automation and it doesn't work, then they're overwhelmed and they give up. And so, like, you know, I've spoken to prospects saying, yeah, we tried automating this and this a few years ago, but it didn't work out. So we're just doing everything manual.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Like,
Yeah.
try it once, then give up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, what's the biggest challenge that you consistently have to face while running your business?
HR challenges. Yeah, and since we offer like a very specialized set of skills, like most of our traffic comes from Entreport's partner listing. Like it's
Ah,
really hard
okay.
to find another Entreport expert or someone with like foundational knowledge. And I wish I was more of an educator or a trainer because I could train people into that, but I'm not. So it's really hard to find people that are like, you know, experts in these certain set of tools that we get a lot of leads for.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, we're constantly recruiting. I think we're getting out of that rut, but that's a constant challenge. Yeah, and the bigger your team is, the more HR problems there are.
yeah, can imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are you curious about or researching right now regarding digital marketing?
Um, yeah, there's two things. The first thing is the no code movement. So tools like Bubble.io. I'm not a developer. I'm like going through a Code Academy development course, but it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to like put together an MVP for a startup through Bubble.io, which they say I can build it without any code at all,
Okay.
which is just amazing. And then the second thing is the dynamic AMP email editor. Have you seen that?
No, I'm not sure what you're talking about there.
So basically allowing for dynamic content in an email, so people can actually submit forms in an email, like click submit, it pops up with a thank you message in the email itself, like not actually being redirected. So dynamic content inside of an email. Like
Ah, I
if you're
see.
like, oh, check out my blogs, and it shows two, and there's like a see more button, they click see more, it loads more in the email. So yeah, and never having to take people off of that. You know, they could take orders, all yeah, basically never having to leave the email inbox.
Oh, okay. Very cool. All right. So, who are your marketing idols or the biggest influences on your career?
I think very early on in my MBA, I don't know if I idolized him, but it was John Mackey, which is the CEO of Whole Foods. Particularly his book Conscious Capitalism, because capitalism, you know, for some people it sounds like a dirty thing, but really it's a force for good in the world. And I think, you know, part of our mission at Automated Dreams is to help businesses make um, uh, to spread their positive impact in the world. And I
Mm,
think really Conscious Capitalism, that book, you know, formed me at a very early part of my career.
okay.
Um, and then recently, I listened to a few podcasts and was reading a bit about the CEO of Calendly, which is his name is Tope
Mm,
Awatana. Really a really humble business leader. I love his story. I love how he's just never yeah, everything about like all of his challenges, he never it never sidetracked him from his goals. Um, so yeah, just reading more of his stuff.
the Calendly product's pretty good too. That's I enjoy using that.
Yeah. I mean, that's our SaaS product, which I can't really release yet. It's around the Calendly platform, like building off of it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right then. So just to wrap up, where can people go to find more about your services?
Yeah, you can check us out at www.automateddreams.com. We've got a chat bot, and you can chat with us there. It's half automated and half human, and yeah, everything you need to know about us is there.
Excellent. All right. Thanks for being on the show, Vince. I really appreciate that. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care. Bye.